the big decision was a 7-2 decision. So some reliable Republicans, conservative justices, ended up going against the president on that. The significance of this with Ian Pryor, the former DOJ Deputy Director of Public Affairs. Ian, it's a 7-2 decision, wasn't a 9-0 decision that we saw during Watergate with the entire Supreme Court voting unanimously that then President Richard Nixon had to turn over the tapes. But it is a smack at the president. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is not, the legal win that the president hoped for, but I don't think it's as devastating as a lot of Democrats are portraying it. I mean, what they said was the president's two arguments, absolute immunity and absent absolute immunity, a higher standard of proof for subpoena, do not apply. So this was a very narrow decision. And now the president has the opportunity in the lower court, in the state court or federal court, if he chooses, to challenge that subpoena on traditional grounds. So no one's getting documents just yet. And nobody's going to get documents until after the election anyway. So I think this is a very limited legal decision. And if you look at both the majority opinion and the concurring opinion, there was a very specific warning, I think, to the Manhattan district attorney that said your subpoenas cannot be overbroad. They cannot be intended in bad faith. These are arguments that the president's legal team will make below, in the courts below.
Still, the president's financial team, a lot of those firms that were working on his behalf, I believe Deutsche Bank and a host of others, do have to comply with this order. I guess I wonder more, regardless of the timing, that this stuff will get out there. Even when it came to the congressional reprimand, no, you can't get your hands on these yet. But I've already seen through, documents somehow finding their way to the New York Times and all, they're going to get out there. Is that a safe conclusion or no?
I think it depends. It depends on what documents are subpoenaed and how he fares in those arguments. But if they do get out there, I question whether this is going to be an effective, campaign issue this time around. I mean, we're currently dealing with coronavirus. We're dealing with mass protests. There are a lot more issues that are front and center on people's minds than I think the president's tax returns. But one point that I want to bring up that I think is important, this is going to provide some problems. Let's say Joe Biden wins the election. If I'm a state attorney general in a Republican state looking to become governor, then I no longer have a limitation on what I can do going after a president. So again, I would be very careful if I'm Democrats talking about how great this decision is, because when it's their turn in office, they're going to be on the other end of this.
I wonder too, and that's an interesting angle on that be careful what you wish for, Democrats, you might get it, that this might be more embarrassing than illegal. And by that, for years that I've covered Donald Trump, the businessman, he was always arguing with the likes of Forbes magazine when they'd have their richest list, on when other rich guys would hate the notoriety because it would draw the attention, I guess, of the IRS. Donald Trump would relish to correct Forbes for understating as well. Now, what if the returns show that maybe Forbes was right? Then what?
Yeah, look, I think you're right. I mean, I don't think that is a legality issue. I think it's a PR issue. And certainly if that's the case, hypothetically, then, his opponents are going to use that to try and embarrass him. But is it going to really have an impact on his, reelection campaign chances? I don't think so. I think that people are far more concerned about different things than they were in 2016. And, if he does win reelection, I think that this will eventually, it'll probably peter out on some level, because I don't think that once he secures a second term, if he does so, that this is really going to capture the attention of the American public.
Yeah, you might be right on that. Barring, blatant illegalities, it might be a stretch. All right, Ian, thank you very, very much.